door, but I don't know how. Well, it's just pure music, but then you have an emphasis that's not on the book. Mine was American, particularly improvised music. So mine was sort of pedagogical to the teaching of jazz. My book was my dissertation was about the writing of that book. And the middle third of my dissertation was that book. But then there was all this academic issue. And when Prince saw the dissertation, he said, we would like just to have this. Why not? Oh, that's great. You know. You still have a copy of that? I have a few, and it's funny, once in a while, I'll see them, they'll show up on eBay or something, including, I don't know if I ever told you this, twice it's been brought to my attention that someone translated it into Italian. There's an Italian version, but I never got a chance to. Someone just, and I didn't know it until the Italian version was already out there. And I came across it on eBay. That's what surprised me. Yeah, it's like, geez, Louise, the aim, that's just pure theft. I mean, I probably would have $20, but yeah, I mean, it's like, whoever did it, they certainly didn't make any money. There's no money. Well, you did that much. Yeah, it was a much. Oh, she's really 10 seconds away from it. So you can, yeah. No, I'll tell you, Tuesday finish. We do this week, pray and, oh, she has a good Good morning, everyone. Good. That's better. I feel affirmed now. I feel heard. Thank you. It's good to see you all today.
the best improvising musician I know, period, end of statement. Please welcome back Scott Albarisi.
Thank you, Scott, and welcome back. We're always so happy to have you, and thank you, Steve, for all that you do. So good morning, everyone. So good to see you. It's a beautiful day. I'm so happy to see everybody here today. We know that you had many choices for your Sunday morning, so we're very happy that you decided to spend today with us. And I know that we are graced by your presence. So if you are in the sanctuary and you're here for the first time, we have several first-time guests today. In the pew in front of you, there should be, and I don't know if I have one here, a yellow guest information card. Yes, hold it up. Thank you. There you go. And if you would fill that out, we would be delighted. On the back, there are some little boxes to check if you need prayer or whatever. And one of the boxes is that you would like to receive. Can't hear? Can we turn it up a little bit? That you would like to receive. Is that better? It's this one. Am I getting feedback? I'm sorry. Okay. I have to use this one? Okay. All right. This means I'm chained to the podium today. I don't like that. No walking around. That's okay. All right, we're good. We're good. Thank you, Hope. I appreciate that. Do I need to start over, or did you hear enough? Okay, good. So, at any rate, there on the back of that guest information card, the yellow card, is one little box that says you would like to receive a year's subscription to our Daily Word magazine. And so that would be a gift to you. We'd be happy to offer that to you. If you give us your name and address, we'll make that happen. And we do not harass anyone here, so we will not be harassed in any way by filling out the yellow card. Also, if you're watching online, that same offer goes to you. Just hit the Contact Us section on our website, unistl.org. And if you are in need of prayer for either joyous occasions or Earth World challenges or your own challenges, we have a highly trained prayer chaplain, Karen Pechtel, who will be here after service to pray with you. Which corner, Karen? Where are you? Over that corner. She'll be over there to pray with you. And you'll meet her in a few minutes. She will read the daily word for us in a little bit. So before we go on to upcoming events, I want to thank all of you who donated time this week to our Savers Cleanout Drive. Please stand when I call your name. I don't know if these people might be too tired to come. I don't know. Julie Godey and her friend Brenda. Ben is here. Ben, would you stand? Where is he? Ben Sauter. He's outside. Honestly, there were some real people here. I swear there were. At any rate, this mighty group, we worked last Wednesday actually, to organize boxes, repack those without lids because they must have lids. They don't have to be taped, but the lids need to be folded over so that they can be stacked, the boxes can be stacked. And although this looked like an overwhelming job, we got it done in like a little more than 2 hours, which was great work. So thanks to you all. And if you were here yesterday to receive additional goods for our drive, would you please stand? I'm not sure who was here okay. Patricia did it all by herself. Who was with you? Was there somebody else with you? Okay, yeah, okay. Julie, okay. And, sorry? Was it Diana? Okay, Diana. Okay, so we thank them. We will be collecting through June 15th, so next Sunday will be the final Sunday to bring in your goods. We don't have another scheduled day to go through things again, so we have everything sealed and labeled with stickers and in different places. And so if you're bringing them between now and then, books, media, and household goods go in boxes. And if you need boxes, there's some in the old sanctuary in the adult classroom. You can grab some after service that have lids on them. And then we also created these great big labels that you can just stick the right label on the box. And if you can, if it's not too heavy, put it in the right pile. You'll see how they are. And all accessories, clothing, accessories, what they call soft goods, like pillows, sheets, towels, anything like that goes in black plastic bags, and they do not have to be labeled. So you'll see where everything goes when you walk in there. Bags are available in the lobby. They supplied the bags for us, and there are, as I said, there are extra boxes in the adult classroom. So also, thanks, a new adventure here, to all of you, very generous, who made very generous donations to those who were hit by the recent tornado. First Unity collected $645 thus far, and we're still collecting. And Unity South asked if they could join us, and we just appreciate that so much. They collected $1,200. So together, we have collected $1,845. And with that, I know, that's right, it's amazing. I want to thank Hope Dotson for taking the lead on that. She's the chair of our community service ministry, and she asked what was most needed, and we were told bus passes for people to get to work who'd lost their cars and didn't have no public transportation in that area right now, or not a lot. So there's a picture out on the table with the plastic bags of all the bus passes, a lot of bus passes. $1,600 worth of bus passes, right? So thank you all. That was great. Speaking of the community service ministry, we meet today in the adult classroom. If you signed up to be part of this ministry, or if you're just interested today, this is the ministry that really and truly helps us fulfill our mission of enriching more and more lives outside the community. We're not just enriching our own lives, but we want to enrich the lives of anybody that we can. And so we're really excited to jumpstart this ministry under Hope's leadership. So we will meet at noon in the adult classroom. If you didn't sign up, it doesn't matter. If you're interested in joining that ministry, please just show up, and we would be happy to have you. Just real quickly, book club. Let's do upcoming events now, please. back, maybe? Thank you. I'm glad that happened because I wanted to say Andy Scheffelbaum is with us today while Jeremiah takes a well-deserved vacation. So thank you, Andy. We appreciate you very much. So just this week, book club meets on Tuesday at 2 p.m. at Miss Sherry's. This coming Friday evening, the jazz band, the Route 66 Jazz Orchestra, has its concert, its summer concert. Weather permitting, it is in Kirkwood Park, and it's a lovely evening. And it is at 7 o'clock, despite the fact that the Route 66 website for a while said 7:30. It's at 7 o'clock, and it's on Friday evening. So they support us greatly, and it would be wonderful if a lot of us were there to support them for this. It's only outside, one of the only outside concerts they do. Usually they have a lot of them here. So the rest of the June dates are on the screen. They're also on our web page. They're in the newsletter. They're on Facebook if you need to look again. And so now I'd like to invite all of you to stand, if you're willing and able, for our first community song, I Am the Thinker by Sue K. Riley, led by Chuck Seeger and accompanied by Steve Schenkel, and we appreciate you both. Thank you.
I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. If you ask me who am I am wisdom, I am light, I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. If you ask me what am I am beauty, I am joy, I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. Thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. I can choose to be the light and lighten someone's darkest night. I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. Thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the shots I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life.
Good morning. Just in the microphone. My name is Karen Prechtel, and I am your prayer chaplain today, and I'm honored and happy to be able to be of service today. I will be in that corner after our service for any prayers that are on your heart. And as always, prayers are kept in strictest confidence. So the daily word for today is kindness. Today, I will be kind to others. Let's say that together. Today, I will be kind to others. When I think of being kind, I am reminded of the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It takes only a moment and no special effort to be kind. I can smile at a stranger, hold the door for the person behind me, or let someone go ahead of me in line. These small acts of kindness bless everyone involved. Other kind efforts may take more thought. I think of how I prefer to be treated. I certainly want to be heard and respected. I want to know my views and opinions matter. I want others to see my value and treat me with dignity. I hold this thought as I think of others. I see people imbued with the Spirit of God. Kindness flows through me to bless others. And from Proverbs 21:21, whoever pursues righteousness and kindness will find life and honor. And so, as we prepare for prayer, we'll just take a moment to allow ourselves to sink into that sacred space. Because we follow in the footsteps of Jesus, we know that kindness is at the center of all that we believe. Kindness toward others may come as second nature to us. Let us also remember to have that same compassion, love, and kindness toward ourselves. Spirit desires this for us as we also pray for kindness in the world. And so it is. Amen.
Andy, I discovered that if I turn my microphone on, it works a little better, so I apologize. So, okay, I'm not anchored to the podium after all. I'm happy. Okay, so we have several new people today. People are guests, and we just appreciate having you so much. I just want you to know we are in the middle of a series on the 12 powers. The 12 powers are inherent spiritual faculties or abilities that Jesus expressed, and they are also inherently part of every single one of us, of our divine nature. So activating these abilities, no matter what is going on in the outer world, we can stay calm and centered. So they are wonderful gifts, really. Today we explore the power of power. Now I know that seems a little bit redundant, doesn't it? The power of power. So let's go with it anyway for a few minutes, and then we have another name for it later on. So what is the very first image that pops into your head when you hear the word power? What do you think about? All right, somebody go like this, right, yes. Maybe a meteorologist or a weather buff might think of an amazing power like a tornado. Someone with a military background might picture armies and strategic maneuvers. And a baseball fan might imagine his favorite player or her favorite player just knocking the ball out of the park, right? Certainly a Cardinal, right? So in her book, Your God-Given Potential, an author named Winifred Hausman, we quoted her a few weeks ago, she says the word power itself has a mystical sound. There's something mystical about it. And she writes, through the years, power has been a main goal for many. Power over others in political, business, entertainment, or ecclesiastical areas. But in the end, those who have sought power for its own sake have always found disillusionment and disappointment. And I might add that power used wrongly also has led to conflicts, oppression, and even genocide in the world. So it can be an ugly thing, but it can be a wonderful thing also. Over a century ago, our Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore said, those who strive to acquire personal power they fall short because they have not mastered themselves. Really a gem of wisdom there. Power is a gift from God, freely given, but it must be used under the direction of the Christ. Spiritual power brings freedom and joy beyond what our human minds can even envision. So it is an amazing power. Fillmore also wrote, from divine mind, we inherit power over our own minds. Spiritual power is released by consciously aligning in, thinking, and speaking forceful words of truth. The power that rules the world is the power within, and we all have that power. The disciple who represents the power is Philip. Now, the name Philip in the early Greek meant lover of horses. And even today, horsepower is one measure of energy, isn't it? So all the powers are really about energy. From the moment Jesus says to Philip, follow me, Philip not only comes along, but he brings a friend. Remember, we talked about this a few weeks ago. He brought Nathaniel, the disciple of imagination. So Philip is also noted as a powerful and influential speaker, speaking the message of truth. In fact, in the book of Acts, it talks about him speaking to all of the people, and they were of one accord in understanding him. The energy center for power is the back of the throat, the voice box. Here we go. Thank you, Andy. The voice box. Guess, 3 guesses, what the color is for purple. Does anybody want to guess? If you don't already know, shout it out. Purple. I actually found something purple in my closet today with a little bit of purple in it. So purple is the power, and purple becomes later on the power of majesty, the power of royalty. So that's interesting. Charles Fillmore defined the power of power as our innate control over thoughts and feelings. Now, I bet some of you have heard this. I've had many people say to me, but I just can't help what I think. The thoughts just keep coming. I can't help it. Well, if you can't help it, who can, right? Where are they coming from? So the point is, and we all kind of fall into that, the point is we do have control over our thoughts. We absolutely do, over our thoughts and feelings, and that's really symbolized very early in the Bible. Eric Butterworth calls this the most majestic statement in the Bible. And there we go. Then God said, from Genesis, then God said, let us make, I'm going to say humankind, in our image, in our likeness, and let them rule over the fish of the sea and the birds of the air, over the livestock, over all the earth, and over all the creatures that move along the ground. The power of power has actually been called, here's the second name for it, the power of dominion. So we can use those interchangeably. They mean the same thing. Now, traditionally, this verse is interpreted to mean that we are given dominion, that humankind is given dominion over physicality. We're in charge of the earth and everything in it. But Bible scholar Ed Townley helps us understand the deeper meaning of this part of the creation story. He writes, God is spirit, the power that chooses to create expressions of itself. This is the image we are given, a power of infinite creative possibility and a rich appreciation for the good. Created in the likeness of God as spirit, we are discerning powers of power, goodness, and love in expression. That is really what we're on here on this earth to do and be. Now, metaphysically, the fish, birds, and all the creeping creatures, actually any animal mentioned in the entire Bible, represents different types of thoughts and feelings, showing us that it is our divine birthright to control our thinking. Every moment of our lives, every single moment, we get the choice. We can choose to focus on the gifts of God, or we can choose on worry, fear, and angst. We can see ourselves as whole, individualized expressions of the God, or we can choose to see ourselves as powerless victims. We can claim our innate power, or we can give it away. Paul Hesselbeck says we have the power to create monsters or miracles. That is our power on this earth. So in both thought and speech, the power of the word is considered the basis of all creation. God said, and everything was created. Every time we speak, we charge our words with energy, for better or for worse. I know some of you have seen this before, but I love this quote. Words are like toothpaste. Once they're squeezed out, you can never squeeze them back in again. Can't take your words back, and some of our words hurt. When we are on the verge of saying something negative, we can train ourselves just to pause, breathe, and think. The classic think test is this. It's an acronym of think. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? Is it kind? Asking these questions before we open our mouths can absolutely help us discover that maybe that comment is best unsaid. Maybe we need to leave it in our mouths. I will never forget, and this is an absolute true story, when my family was visiting, my aunt and uncle had a huge farm over in Illinois, and my brother and I loved to go over there. And we were gathered around the farm table for lunch. It was my aunt and my uncle, who, by the way, were wonderful, loving people, even if my aunt was a tad religious. But at any rate, we were gathered around the table, and the hired hands were there. Their two adopted children were there. My whole family was there. And all of a sudden, my little brother was 4 years old and had a big, loud mouth, said, Aunt Nan, what does the word fanatic mean? And she said, oh, sweetheart, that's such a big word for a little boy. Where in the world did you hear that? And he goes, I heard it from my mommy. She says you are one. True story. So note that what he said was true on the outer. My mother had said that. It was true, but it was not helpful, it was not inspiring, it was not necessary, and it certainly was not kind. And I'll add one more, it was not spiritually true. It might have been true on this earth, but it wasn't a spiritual truth. So one of the most powerful stories in the entire Bible, highlighting the spiritual power of the Word, is in Luke. And what makes this story so unique, a lot of you know this, is Jesus' comment about the person making a healing request. Jesus says, truly I tell you, I have not found anyone in Israel with as much faith as you. Wow. The person with more faith than anybody in the entire Holy Land? That is amazing. So what do we expect? A rabbi? A prophet? Maybe a child? Maybe a disciple? Those of you know, who was it? Oh, come on, you know this. Well, who's up here doing all this teaching if nobody's learning? No, I'm kidding. It was a Roman centurion. It was a Roman centurion, you remember that story, who came to Jesus and said, Lord, my servant lies at home paralyzed, suffering terribly at the point of life. Jesus says to him, shall I come to your house and heal him? Well, just a little historical note here. In Jesus' time, the house of a Gentile was considered unclean to Jews. So if Jesus had gone there, he would have been called unclean. So the centurion really shows respect for Jewish culture and law as he offers a different option. He says to Jesus, just say the word, and my servant will be healed. For I myself am a man under authority. I say to this one, go, and he goes. I say to this one, come, and he comes. And I say to my servant, do this, and he does it. Hearing this, Jesus is amazed, and he says, I tell you, I have not found anyone in Israel with such great faith. Let it be done according to your faith. And at that very moment that he spoke, the servant was healed. Now, the centurion demonstrates kind of great insight into a metaphysical truth that we kind of get today, but it was pretty much unheard of in Jesus' day, and that is faith in the power of the Word. Faith in the power of the Word. So we do absolutely have power over our thoughts, our feelings, and our words. This is how we create our reality, and maybe even more importantly, it is how we see ourselves. How we see ourselves. Reverend Philip Pearson explains, the faculty of dominion is very closely bound to two powerful words, I am. I am. Too often we take those words very casually without realizing their tremendous energy for outpicturing in our lives. We say things like, I am tired, I am sick, I'm unable to fill in the blank, right? We all in our human skins can do that sometimes. And one of my favorite quotes, we've looked at this before, our self-talk matters. Be careful how you talk to yourself, because, say this with me, you are listening. You are listening to your own self-talk. In Exodus, at the burning bush, when Moses asked God's name, God's response is, I am that I am. Tell the Egyptians, I am has sent you. Metaphysically, I am is the spiritual identity, the Christ mind of each individual. God is I am, and as God's offsprings, we are also I am, the indwelling expression of life, love, wisdom, and all divine ideas. The word spoken in I am context is the very essence of the Christ. And the book of John begins, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. In the early Greek, the word word was logos, meaning the creative power of the mind. And that mind was in Jesus, and that mind is in each one of us. It's our true creative intelligence and power. So exercising our dominion over words and thoughts, we choose those that absolutely are congruent with who we truly are. This is exemplified in a parable that some of you know, but it's really good for this particular topic, and it's the parable of the grass-eating tiger. Once there was a tigress who had been in the hot sun all day, and she died giving birth to her cub. And just shortly after that, a group of goats came by, a herd of goats. I'm not sure that's what the proper name is for goats, but anyway, we're going to use it today. A herd of goats came by, and they took pity on the little cub, and so they adopted him. And so he was very happy. He thought he was a goat. He bleated, he butted, he ate grass. He was just happy as can be. And so one day, this huge male tiger approached the goats, and they all just scrambled like, everything, running for their lives, except the little cub. And he just stood there. He somehow felt some kind of affinity with this giant creature, but he couldn't quite name it. And so the tiger said to the little goat, "What are you doing? What's the matter with you? You're acting like a goat." And the little tiger said, "I am a goat." And the big tiger said, "Come with me." And he took him over to this still lake, and he said, "Just look in there." And the little tiger looked in there, and he looked at the big tiger, and he looked again, and he looked at the big tiger, and he was extremely confused. And so the big tiger said, "Come with me, son." And he took him to his lair where he had just killed a gazelle, and he said, "Take a bite of this." And the little tiger said, "Oh, no, I can't eat that. I'm a vegetarian." But the tiger talked him into it, and so he took a bite, and in taking that bite, he realized that he was much more than he had been thinking that he was, or at least much different. And he absolutely took that bite, and he chewed, and then all of a sudden, out of his mouth came this tiny little roar. It was definitely the roar of power, not as great, not as loud as it eventually would be, but that was his beginning of realizing who and what he really was. And so it is with us. Sometimes we fail to be what we were created to be. Life can be tough, and the world can bring us lots of challenges, but in the midst of any life conflict, the question to ask ourselves is this: as I navigate this, whatever the situation is, no matter how awful it seems, as I navigate this, are my thoughts, words, and actions coming from a place of weakness, unworthiness, and victimhood, or am I awakening to my true purpose and power? Emmett Fox wrote, "Life is consciousness. Life is consciousness." That means we don't see and navigate the world as it is. We don't even see and navigate the world as we are. We see and navigate the world as we think we are. That's what controls our actions and our words. So we absolutely can never exercise dominion until we claim our divine identity and potential. Too often we allow those societal messages to control us, that we are unable or unworthy. We become trapped in thinking that we are what others said about us, or even that we're identified as our accomplishments. We're not our accomplishments. We are so much more than that. We are the power of God in action. Nothing we have ever done or left undone can separate us from Spirit. UNI co-founder Myrtle Fillmore, we'll honor Myrtle today, wrote, "You have looked among your faults. Now suppose you look among your virtues. I did, and there I found the cause of deep-seated suffering and illness." And she said, "As I turned the light of Spirit upon those hidden things and sought to have divine mind transform my mind so that I could work from a new basis, I was healed and restored to harmony." So that was Myrtle's choice. And for those of you who are new here, Myrtle actually had a healing from tuberculosis, and she had been given like only a few months to live, and she completely healed by going into prayer and blessing each organ of her body. So she should know, right? She's proven it. So the thing is, sometimes we like to beat ourselves up, and beating ourselves up only keeps us stuck. And we're not here to be stuck. Not here to be stuck. Look at that guy in the playground equipment. Using our power of dominion, we resolve to let no person or situation take away our power. It is too precious. In the book, Adventures in Resilience, this is a long title, but Ignite the Powers Within You to Create a Radiant Life, that's the title. Reverend Sharon Connors, a UNI minister, calls the power of power the energy of transformation. I kind of like that. She calls it the energy of transformation. She says we have a power cord called thought. We can plug our thoughts into any idea we choose. In a crisis, we can pause and ask ourselves, what are we plugging into? Aligned in the truth of our being, we can unplug from the problem and plug into the spiritual situation. This means we can unplug from thinking we are less than and plug into that deep inner knowing that no matter what we face in this world, we are standing on holy ground, one with the divine, with all the powers of the Christ. And depending on how deeply embedded our negative thinking patterns might be, I admit, this takes some practice. It's not an overnight instant waffle thing. First and foremost, we must accept that we have that innate power. We must accept it. And then you can see in this for a minute, Henry Ford affirmed, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. Meaning what we think, know, and believe becomes our reality. It was Eckhart Tolle who said it's important for us to become a watcher and observer of our own thoughts. Just slow down a little bit and say, what am I thinking? And why am I thinking it? The National Science Foundation reports that the average person has 60,000 thoughts daily. Some professions have more thoughts daily. But actually, the research shows that of those 60,000 thoughts, 80% of them are negative. 80%. And 95% of them are repetitive. So we just keep having these same negative, repetitive thoughts. And if we're on autopilot, we might not even realize it. We're so used to doing it, it just becomes our default position. So behavioral scientists have an acronym for this, and I love this. Some of you might remember it. We've talked about it before. It's ANTS, automatic negative thoughts. Automatic negative thoughts. So if you've ever had ants in your house, which I have, you know that they can be hard to eliminate. You have to stick with it, right? You can't just give up. So somebody mentioned to me on the way in today mindfulness. The practice of mindfulness, which is a big topic today, helps us to absolutely exterminate those ants. The definition of one definition of mindfulness is the awareness that arises through paying attention intentionally, on purpose, non-judgmentally, a lot of things, to thoughts and feelings in the present moment. When we feel our emotions run amok, and we have physical reactions, sweaty palms, shallow breathing, we can stop and we just become aware of ourselves and gently, lovingly ask ourselves, what am I thinking and feeling right now? What am I telling myself about this event? Because you're probably telling yourself a story about the event that may not be true. So over time, this practice helps us discern when we're claiming our power and when we're giving it away. With practice, we absolutely can just dissuade those ants, reprogram, and connect to the creative power over thoughts and words in order to allow that perfect energy of God to flow through us. So Reverend Linda Martella Whitsitt writes, we are created for power. It's in us to succeed, to move forward, to accomplish. That's our birthright. And therefore, I invite us this week, all of us, to set the intention to power up, to make sure that the power of our thoughts and words are never taking us away, but always taking us closer and closer to the truth of our being. In this mindset, we stay plugged in to spiritual power, one thought at a time, one word at a time. We allow the goodness and grace of God to manifest in our thinkings, in our words, and in our lives. And so it is. So now we're going to use that power of the word to affirm our great truth about our divine. This is being affirmed in unity churches all over the world. Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and at work in my life. God, the good, omnipotent, and so it is.
When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my love go deeper, my love go deeper into my God.
And so I invite you now to close your outer eyes and just become still as you prepare to move into prayer, to experience the presence of God. You know and experience this presence not only in this sanctuary or wherever your physical location is at the moment, but in the inner sanctuary of your own soul. Take a moment to travel there now. I invite you to take a deep cleansing breath. And as you inhale, allow the breath of God to breathe in you as you. And then as you exhale, just let go of any thought, belief, or self-perception that is blocking your good. Know the truth. God is, and all is well. God is pure life, love, wisdom, strength, and goodness. How infinite and perfect is the Spirit that indwells you, now and always. There is no separation. So I invite you to turn within now for a guided meditation adapted from Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith. As you continue to focus on your breath, take into that inner sanctuary the truth that your individual consciousness has no circumference, that it is unlimited, and that you are absolutely worthy and qualified to realize your oneness with the pure, unconditional love of Spirit. Beckwith says, luxuriate in the awareness of this now. The truth is, you are not here to shrink and play it small. You are here to embrace your power, to make a difference, and to let your light shine freely into the world. So now, I invite you to take a moment to think about an occasion when your heart was on fire to know the truth, to discover the purpose of your being. It may have been yesterday, it may have been decades ago. This desire may have been fueled by joy or maybe even by suffering. It doesn't matter. Fully enter this feeling tone of the longing, the yearning to realize your true self. Take a breath, another breath, and just amplify that feeling. Mentally say to yourself, I am here to evolve. I am here to have a realization of that which is true about me. Contemplate the truth that you are an on-purpose, individualized expression of Source, waiting to express fully just as you are. Give your consent to this realization of oneness and power. And so I want you to just for a moment, all of us, feel the Christ light at the top of our heads, just moving from the top of our heads to our throats, the spiritual home of power. Feel the root of the tongue bathed in powerful purple light. Right now, right here, you are divine power. You are divine power. If there's any area in your life where you are feeling powerless, know it's an illusion. And so I would like to ask you right now, if there is any area like that in your life, it may be an unfulfilled dream, it may be a problem with which you're dealing, I would like to ask you to visualize yourself speaking your truth and mastering your thoughts by focusing on what is good, what is true, what is admirable. Do this now for just a few moments in the silence. And so now I ask us, whether you're in this sanctuary or out in the world, to come back together as a larger spiritual community. And let us do that in joy and gratitude for these moments spent in contemplative meditation. We are grateful for our divine birthright and for one another. We behold the Christ in each other and all human beings. And so it is, and so we joyously allow it to be, in and through the power of the Christ. Amen. Thank you, Scott and Steve. That was beautiful. So now, and thank you also, Andy, for being with us today. We appreciate you being with us. So now it's that time in our service where we just get to pause, reflect, and give thanks for our many blessings. We so appreciate your financial donations as we do depend upon them to just fulfill our mission of enriching more and more lives. And for those of you in house, there is a box in the middle aisle at the back for tithes and offerings. Streamers, we want to thank all of you who also have been donating. Everyone can donate via Apple Pay, Google Pay, or PayPal. Just hit the donate button on unitystl.org or on our YouTube channels. So now, knowing that we are one with Divine Source and each other, would you please join me in our prosperity prayer? Together, divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. We affirm that God is our source, and we are grateful for prosperity in our personal lives and in our spiritual community. So if you're willing and able, I invite everyone to stand for our prayer for protection. Together. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love. The power of God protects us. We are the power. The presence of God watches over us. The presence indwells us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you for joining us today. We hope to see you again next week. As a vibrant, inclusive spiritual community, we come together to express oneness of spirit and to support one another. Our service will end today with a unity oldie, I Am the Radiant Life of God, led by Chuck Seeger and accompanied by Steve. Please come downstairs afterwards for coffee and conversation. And if you would like to join the community service ministry, that will be at noon in the adult classroom, which is through the bookstore. Thank you all.
I am the radiant life of God. I am, I am, I am. I am the radiant life of God. I am, I am, I am. The health of God, the strength of God, vitality, energy, gem of God. I am the radiant life of God. I am, I am, I am. I am the wonderful love of God. I am, I am, I am. I am the wonderful love of God. I am, I am, I am. The peace of God, the joy of God, serenity, harmony, rhythm of God. I am the wonderful love of God. I am, I am, I am. I am the wisdom and power of God. I am, I am, I am. I am the wisdom and power of God. I am, I am, I am. The light of God, success of God, prosperity, happiness, light of God. I am the wisdom and power of God. I am, I am, I